Greetings, everyone. My name is Dr. Erica Cerullo McCarthy. I am the director of the Margaret H. Orderbody and University Writing Center here at Middle Tennessee State University. And today I'm excited to offer you some practice for the concepts that we've covered in our previous workshops. So in this workshop, we'll look at some examples of student writing and feedback, and then you'll practice giving feedback on student writing examples. So let's get started. First, let's briefly go over the two main concepts that we've discussed in the last workshop. The first main concepts are higher order concerns, HOCs, lower order concerns, LOCs, and the directive, non-directive approaches to giving feedback. But first, HOCs and LOCs. So remember, higher order concerns address the larger, more holistic type concerns, including but not limited to paying close attention to the thesis, evidence, sources, organization, and adherence to the assignment sheet. Now, lower order concerns, LOCs, they address more local concerns, including sentence structure, grammar, and word choice. So if applicable, when giving feedback, you want to prioritize HOCs because content needs to be developed first before surface level issues can be addressed. Prioritizing HOCs are useful during a brainstorming session or when working with a student on a draft. Now, students may want to prioritize LOCs and prefer your feedback focus on grammar and punctuation. You can gently suggest that the feedback also address HOCs such as thesis, organization, idea development. Remember, a text can be error-free but lack logical flow or avoid answering a writing prompt. In other words, you gotta focus on the content first and foremost, and then surface level issues can be addressed. Second, after deciding what to prioritize in feedback, you'll want to consider your approach, a directive approach, a non-directive approach, or a mix of both. Remember that a directive approach to feedback explicitly identifies a writing issue, explains why it is important, and models a solution. Whereas a non-directive approach asks students open-ended questions to help the writer identify a solution on their own. Your decision on which approach to take will depend on a few different things. It'll depend on the student and their experiences, the text that the student is writing or has written, the assignment sheet and the goals of the assignment, and the mode of feedback, so whether that's synchronous or asynchronous, face-to-face or online. But remember, you might toggle between the two approaches in one session. So you'll think about what to pay attention to and in what order, then you'll consider your approach to feedback. So let's jump in with some examples of feedback on student writing. Please read the two examples provided to you in the accompanying packet. Pause the workshop and consider the following questions. What approach was taken in the feedback? Directive, non-directive, or a combination of the two? In other words, was the feedback directive and explicit? Where was it, and where was it more indirect and open-ended? What was prioritized in the feedback? Higher order concerns or lower order concerns? What tone did the feedback take? Was it clear and supportive? Are there examples of empathy in the feedback? And finally, how would you feel receiving this feedback if you were a writer? Please pause the workshop now, read through those two student examples with feedback, and consider the questions. So now that you've read and reflected on some examples of student writing feedback, let's practice the concepts that we've covered in these workshops. Please read the two examples provided to you in your accompanying packet. Pause the workshop and consider the following questions. What will you prioritize in your feedback for each example? HOCs or LOCs or a combination? What approach do you think you might take? Directive or non-directive? What tone will your feedback take and why? Finally, what do you think the student will take away from your feedback? So please pause the workshop at this moment, read those 2 examples of student text, give feedback considering these questions, and then after you're done discussing it or considering it, press play. We want to thank you for taking the time to understand student writers so that you can better support their writing goals. We really hope these digital workshops and the corresponding activity packet deepened your understanding of writing support and will serve as a resource for you as you support MTSU writers. We want to invite you to contact us with any questions at all. We love to talk about writing and ways to better support MTSU writers. As you can see, we have our email addresses up there, erica.cirillo-mcsu.edu, and our assistant director, carrie.carter@mtsu.edu. Thank you all so much for paying close attention to this and for caring about student writing. We'll see you soon.